Our occupation lasted 6 hours, and we cancelled 25 flights that day, saving thousands of tons of carbon dioxide from being emitted that day. We were all eventually removed, arrested, and charged with aggravated trespass and authorized and unauthorized entry to a restricted zone. During our trial, we argued that our actions were reasonable, proportionate, and necessary in order to prevent death and serious injury via air pollution and climate change. Locally, 31 people a year die prematurely due to Heathrow's pollution. Globally, hundreds of thousands of people are already dying due to the effects of climate change. These people are mainly in the global south and are among the most marginalized and least responsible for climate change. Since being found guilty, much of the attention has been focused on the injustice of our potential jail sentences. Clearly, none of us would choose to go to jail, but this shouldn't be singled out as the main injustice. For thousands of people, climate change is already a death sentence. The real injustice here is not that we are facing prison sentences, but that the majority of the world's population who have suffered centuries of colonial injustice are the ones who continue to be the most affected by the privileged lifestyles of the few. This movement is about much more than the 13 of us. During the last fight against the third runway at Heathrow, there was a broad coalition of local groups, MPs, environmental organizations, and direct action groups. That coalition is still here. With even more outrage over broken promises and more evidence about the harmful impacts of Heathrow, that movement has grown stronger than ever. From the push for fracking and funding cuts to renewables, to increased subsidies for fossil fuels, and David Cameron's U-turn on his 2009 no ifs, no buts pledge that there would be no third runway at Heathrow, the government is clearly failing on climate change. The political process is not working, but we need to take climate change seriously. And while we don't want to go to prison, we are willing to take such actions for a just and livable planet.
Aviation is the fastest growing source of carbon dioxide. Current growth rates in the aviation sector already make it unlikely that we will meet the targets in the legally binding 2008 Climate Change Act. That's it without aviation expansion. The science is clear. There can be no new runways if we're to take climate change seriously. We've been sold a myth that airport expansion is for yearly holidays and business. This is not true. There is more than enough existing capacity for people to take that annual holiday and for the declining number of business flights. Currently, just 15% of the population takes 70% of flights in this country. Aviation expansion is driven by these wealthy frequent flyers who are often travelling to second homes. Their flights to second homes cause climate change, which makes other people homeless. The fight against aviation is not limited to Heathrow or Gatwick. We stand shoulder to shoulder with other struggles around the world, from the Northern Forest Defence fighting a third airport in Istanbul, to Lazard and Notre-Dame-des-Landes, who are resisting the development of an airport near Nantes. They're calling for an international day of action on the 27th of February, and Plain Stupid is responding in solidarity. When we say no new runways, we mean no new runways anywhere. Therefore, we support the call for 2016 to see a groundswell of escalation in the climate movement, with more bold, effective, and disruptive action to transition from fossil fuel culture to a safe, clean energy. It's become necessary to break the law to prevent climate crimes. And we'd like to thank everyone involved in the struggle against climate change for their work and for the amazing support that we've received.